Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment. This week, my name is David, and here in 2023, I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Audrey and Kwam.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy
Welcome.
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Welcome to our first show of the year.
Yeah, I was shaking my head because 2023 seems just like an impossibility, but here we are.
It does not seem real. But hello to everyone watching across all Xfinity platforms, or maybe you're watching on our 24/7 What to Watch channel on Zumo. If so, thank you for doing that. And watch the replays. You can watch it as many times as you want. It's going to be riveting because we have another really great show for you today. So let's tell you about it. I will reveal the true crime docu-series I'm absolutely obsessed with. Kwam will step into the spotlight with his picks for this year's Grammys. Audrey will give you a sneak peek at the free TV and movies you can enjoy this week. We'll be joined by Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, stars of HBO Max's The Last of Us. And as always, we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the week ahead. So let's kick things off with a segment that proves truth is often stranger than fiction. It's Impressed and Obsessed. Kwam, Audrey, I am currently obsessed with a TV show, and that TV show is the new Peacock original docuseries, Paul T. Goldman. And before I dive into my rantings and my ravings, let's check out a clip.
I couldn't make this up. It happened to me.
Paul, is this what happened?
It's all been put in the book. I'm a single dad raising my son, Johnny. I always brought Johnny with me on my first dates. Then I came across a woman, family-oriented, stay-at-home mom. Audrey?
Let's cut there. How does that feel, Paul?
He's the main guy. He's gonna play himself?
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Wow, that's weird.
Action.
Shortly after we were married,
She was trying to fleece Paul out of money.
What'd you do?
I'm getting a psychic reading.
I'm Terry J. I'm a pet psychic.
I'm sensing that this is bigger than we think.
What?
I said that.
That started the discoveries of her secret double life.
She had a secret phone and she had secret addresses.
This is the spot.
This woman must be stopped.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You gonna leave me hanging?
I went and paid a visit to the FBI.
In this story, every time you turn over a rock,
I'm the warrior now.
you'll find several more pebbles.
I got goosebumps.
I'm in full stealth mode.
This case haunts me. It started off here and it just went here.
So that's Paul T. Goldman. And as the trailer sort of describes, Paul T. Goldman, the man, is an average man who had an allegedly disastrous marriage to a woman who allegedly married him for his money and allegedly tried to take all of his assets. And Paul wrote about his experience in a book called Duplicity, a true story of crime and deceit. Paul also wrote a movie screenplay based on his book. And so when Paul connected with filmmaker Jason Walliner, who directed the Borat sequel, among other things, he wanted to not only tell his story, but also make the movie about his life. So this docuseries is a very odd and very meta in that it is both a docuseries about the true crime story, but also chronicles the making of this movie, which he stars in alongside actual actors. This is a person with no acting, writing, any of that experience, but he wrote a script. They're using the actual script. They didn't punch it up with professionals. It's his dialogue. But what's really fascinating about this to me is that as the story unfolds, we start to question what's real and what's fiction. Like, Paul confesses to embellishing aspects of the story. Paul adds entire scenes that never happened. Paul attempts to create these poignant moments where poignant moments shouldn't be. And the show is co-produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. If you watched The Rehearsal on HBO Max, or Nathan for You, or How To with John Wilson, you're definitely primed for the kind of unconventional storytelling this show offers up. And I'd also say if you loved the infamously terrible Tommy Wiseau movie, The Room, you will also love Paul T. Goldman because they're basically making The Room, and he is Tommy Wiseau. So, Audrey, I know you watched the show after I told you to watch it for several days straight. Did I miss anything here?
I mean, there's like small things like, why are you bringing Johnny on all your first dates? Like, that's so weird.
Johnny is his son.
Yes. No, it's so I'll say like, and I said this to David, after the first episode, my husband and I watched it and he was like, I kind of just want the like Dateline version, like just like the true crime, straight true crime version. But then as you keep watching it, I think he like grows on you in a weird way because he's such a kooky dude. And you almost appreciate it more. But like, I couldn't stop trying to figure out who he reminds me of or like, and all I got so far was like a mishmash of Steve Carell and Nick Cage. Like, I feel like if there was like an actual movie about him, like either one of them could play him. But
Or
there's
like
like a missing
Bob
link.
Odenkirk.
Yeah. There's something very familiar and like, I don't know. There's something familiar about him. Yeah.
The thing is that I think my hunch is that if you got the straight true crime version of this, the question really is there a true crime story here?
Yeah.
He claims there is. He's written a true crime story, but there might not actually be a crime story to tell. He's just created possibly this really elaborate, because I think as it alludes to, he believes that his ex-wife was the madam of like a massive prostitution ring that was tied in with the mob, and they were sex trafficking from other countries. And like, he decides to go and investigate this for himself and turn all his evidence over to the FBI. Like, it's a much bigger story, but you don't know what is real or what is fake.
Yeah.
Also, another fun fact, some people might appreciate this, Audrey, I know you will. The actress playing Audrey, Melinda McGraw, was in Seinfeld. She was the hit and run driver in the episode where Jerry tracks her down and ends up dating her.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
She's done a lot of things.
Yeah. I have a hard time with watching anything with someone with my name in it. So it is very jarring to me when there's another character being referenced by my name. It's not their name.
Yeah.
But I do want to finish it. I think we watched 4 episodes and it's only 8, right?
It's 6.
Oh, 6. Okay. So I'm almost there.
Yeah. And the last episode just aired last night. So now you can watch all 6 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's weird. It's not like anything you've ever seen. I think if you're gonna watch it, like go in with an open mind because it's very odd, but just appreciate that Paul is like kind of a super weirdo, and he's just like a dude who like has no experience in filmmaking, but wanted to make this movie and is kind of so enamored with it that he, like Tommy Wiseau, thinks that there's a chance that this could win Oscars or Emmys, and he's alongside these actors and actresses who are kind of like, this dude is like, this is the real dude that this happened to, and he's playing himself, and he's rewriting dialogue. Like, he's with real professionals, but they're just kind of letting him do his thing, which is what makes it so much fun. So I don't know. Hopefully I've convinced you, Kwam. I think you should check it out.
I mean, I was going to say this sounds just like The Room, but if Nick Cage made it, and so y'all too, they kind of hit the nail on the head. But if The Room taught us anything, is that this in a few years will be a cult classic, and maybe Paul is onto something here. Maybe he's masterminding his own legacy. So
it's true. He was already on Jimmy Kimmel with Seth Rogen a few weeks ago, so he's becoming famous, whether his story is true or not, but you'll have to watch the whole thing to find out for sure. And as I said, all 6 episodes of Paul T. Goldman are currently available on Peacock. Just say Peacock into your voice remote to check it out, or say True Crime to browse all of our favorite true crime docuseries and documentaries. And next up, Quam goes on the record with his picks for the 2023 Grammy Awards in a segment called Editor Spotlight. We are less than 2 weeks away from the 65th Annual Grammy Awards, which air live on CBS and Paramount Plus at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, February 5th. And our very own music editor, Quam, has kept a close eye on this year's nominees and is here to tell us about his predictions in a few of the biggest categories. Quam, what you got for us?
Thank you, David. And like David mentioned, the Grammys is music's biggest night. Artists dream of hearing their name being called on stage to celebrate their achievements and hard work. However, keeping up with all the nominations can be a challenge, so we built a collection that features the top categories, past performances, and so much more. Just say Grammys into your voice remote to see it all. However, we all know the Grammys don't have the best track record when choosing the right winners. Luckily for you, faithful viewers, your boy Quam has recruited his own award committee, and we decided who really should win, because we are dripping in objectivity. So let's take a look at the best new artist. So this year, there wasn't a clear-cut winner. Nominees included the Italian band Måneskin, R&B singer Mooney Long, and Brazilian pop star Anitta, just to name a few. However, let's look at who will win, and more importantly, who should win. So I think Lotto is the clear favorite here. She's had a huge hit in 2022 with her song Big Energy that sampled Mariah Carey's classic Fantasy. And additionally, she released an album that features some of rap's biggest names, such as Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, and Childish Gambino. She's had a pretty big 2022, and I think a lot of people are starting to come onto her more than some of the other folks in the best new artist category. However, because I am dripping in objectivity, Amar Paulo should be the winner. Firstly, Amar Paulo, he's been grinding in the underground music scene for a minute now. And his sound, it's rooted in R&B, but he often blends genres, and he's just simply a fresher breath air. And all this is culminated into one of my favorite albums of 2022, Ivory, which features one of my most played songs, Killing Me. If you haven't heard it, it's so good. It's just so catchy, and it's like so chill. It's like a perfect blend of like indie, like an indie cut, but also like has like a little bit of R&B feels, and it's just so sentimental, and it's a great song, great album. And Amar Paulo has a bright future, and I definitely think he deserves to be the best new artist. But David, Audrey, who do you think should win? Have you heard of any of these artists?
Only heard of Lotto, and you're right, she did have a big year. I mean, that Big Energy song was everywhere. Yeah, I've never heard of Omar Apollo, so I can't even. I don't even know if I know I couldn't name a song.
No, and to the surprise of no one, I don't know who either of these people are. And I think Wet Leg should win, because that is my jam, because they're also nominated for Best New Artist. So that would be my write-in for this game we're playing right here. But no, I have no idea who these two folks are, but I will check them out and I'll see if I agree with Quam.
So Audrey, while I was choosing who should win Best New Artist, I had Sammy on the committee, one of our co-workers, and she said that Wet Leg should not be on. I was like, but Audrey loves Wet Leg.
Wet Leg's so good. But well, Sammy's getting a talking to.
Listen, those were Sammy's words, not mine. I vouched for Wet Leg, but she said Amar Apollo. I was like, I think you're right, Sammy. I think you're right.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd write in Måneskin. You said they were nominated too, right?
Yeah.
They were. They are. Yes. Is it Måneskin? Or, I thought it was Måneskin. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't really do my research.
I don't know. Måneskin. There's a little symbol over one of the letters, so I imagine.
I've never seen that symbol before. I did not know what it meant. I was like, is it a degree of E? I don't know. So I was a little confused.
But I know them, and what do they sing? That begging song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Begging you.
Yeah.
I know them.
We should start a choir, guys. I think you can sound great. Covering Maneskin songs. So let's take a look at record of the year. So record of the year often gets confused with song of the year. And to put it simply, song of the year really focuses on the writing and the composition and all that boring stuff that no one cares about. While record of the year really focuses on who was or what was everyone listening to for that year. So with that, let's take a look at the selections. Okay, first up, we have Adele, Easy on Me. I think it's easy. No. No. Okay, I try. I think it's easy to understand why Adele will win this category. I mean, the song was her first song in years. It instantly went number one. It was a smash hit. And, Adele just did an amazing performance on the song, with her powerful vocals and heartfelt lyrics about being, not a good person. And I think everyone was just so enamored with Adele and everyone loved it. I loved it. I thought it was a great song. I'm not even a big Adele fan. Also, Adele is a Grammy favorite. She often wins when I personally don't think she deserved to, and some other folks, not trying to throw any shade at Adele, but, Beyonce deserved it. Hot take. That's not really hot. Audrey might disagree with me, but I think it's easy to see why Adele might win, or will win this. But who should win? Because I am dripping in objectivity, David. You can't deny my logic. Steve Lacy, Bad Habit. And let me tell you why before you try to disagree with me. It's not like Adele's song. It didn't just start off as a smash hit. No, it was better than that. It had to climb from the depths of obscurity to hit number one. You know what that means? It had to face the grind, the hustle. Adele doesn't know about the hustle. Steve Lacy does. You know how I know Steve Lacy knows about the hustle? He's been making critically acclaimed music for years before Bad Habit. And now everyone's on him. Everyone loves him. And that's the power of a great song. I think it just showcases Steve Lacy's ability to write a catchy song without following a traditional pop formula. And just trust me, listen to it one time. If you haven't heard it, I guarantee you're going to be singing the song for the entire month. And that is why Steve Lacy, Bad Habit, is the record of the year.
If I haven't heard it, I can't avoid that song. It's everywhere, all the time.
It's everywhere.
Listen, my problem with I have a hard time separating the music from the artist in this case because he's such a crybaby over the fact that people only know him from TikTok. And that's like a real big sticking point for me. Like, I know he's had like hissy fits at concerts because people only know the 15 seconds of Bad Habit from the TikTok videos. And I know, like, I saw him on stage smash someone's phone. Like, and I get it. It could be frustrating for someone who's like you said, grinded for years and years to make good music. And then you're only known for 15 seconds of a single song. But like, when you have an opportunity in front of an audience to introduce them to music, like, don't act like a jerk. Whatever. That's my personal feeling. Like, yeah, it is a good song, but like, don't be like all that. I love Easy on Me. And honestly, if my write-in would be Harry Styles for this, I think he should have record of the year because, as it was, I felt like it was a bigger song than both of them.
Let me get to Dave real quick.
Yes.
I agree. I do think that, Steve Lacy is throwing a bit of a hissy fit. And I think while it's understandable, I do think it's a great opportunity to show the people that are there why you are more than, Bad Habit. But this is not a conversation about personalities or what they do on stage. No, this is a conversation about a song, okay? We're taking everything else out of consideration. It's all about Bad Habit. It's all about Bad Habit. So with that in consideration, to my conclusion, Bad Habit is the better song, hands down. And I am dripping in objectivity, so I can't be wrong. But Audrey, let me hear your thoughts. David, you're done. You're done for the day.
I'm done.
I have no thoughts on this. Like, I'm a almost 40-year-old mom who knows nothing about cool current music. So, of course, I know Adele because, all moms do. Maybe like I would know this song if someone like sung it to me or hummed it to me because I have been perusing TikTok as of late. Shocker. So maybe I would know it, but not off the top of my head.
David, you got this. You're the one with the vocal chops. If you want to take a
you
stab
know
at singing the song.
Oh, I bite my tongue. It's a bad habit.
Oh, I do know that song.
Yes, and that's
All right.
that's the 5 seconds from TikTok.
Yeah. All right.
That's all I know.
I totally know that song. I'm gonna have to agree with David on Harry Styles though, because that all Harry Styles was like everywhere all year, and I very much enjoy him and his music. But we'll see.
Hot take, that wasn't even my favorite song on the album. Honestly, I thought As It Was kind of overrated. I thought it's an okay song. It's not on my liked songs list, but I enjoyed his album, and I just didn't think it was that great. But hey, what do I know?
Late Night Talking is a better song, I will say, I think, than As It Was.
I agree.
Yeah.
I could think of like 4 or 5 songs on that album I think that were better than As It Was. But those are not the selections because those aren't objective takes. Those are subjective takes, and Quam is dripping in objectivity. So now let's look at Album of the Year. So this is the most decorated album of the night, and with all the decoration often comes with criticism and scrutiny because the Grammys often always mess it up. So let's look at who will win. Okay. I think it's easy to see why Beyonce should win and will win, because even though the sale numbers don't reflect it, this is one of the biggest albums of the year. It was Beyonce's first album in 5 years, or over 5 years, really. It had a smash hit with Break My Soul and produced another hit with Cuff It that's currently climbing the charts right now. But most importantly, it showcases Beyonce's ability to just never settle. I think as an artist, when you're, getting up there in your career and you've been around for such a long time, it becomes hard to, tap into that creative juice and just stay fresh. And with this album, I think Beyonce showed that she is not staying put. She is going to continue to keep pushing her creative boundaries. And lastly, I mean, she's been snubbed so many times for Album of the Year that if it were to happen again, oh my God, the Beehive will riot. And I don't want to be part of that riot. I'd rather this, just give it to Beyonce because let's all just say, Beyonce, you deserve it. You deserve it. But who really should win is Coldplay, Music of the Spheres, or how I like to call it, the Emoji Album. If you haven't seen this album, it's like all emoji titles. It's kind of hilarious. But it's the album from the British rock band Coldplay. We all know who they are. And this album... Hold on, I'm sorry. I think there was a mistake.
What?
Our producer Brad. Apparently, Brad is a huge Coldplay fan. And
He's been sabotaged?
He sabotaged the selection. I'm sorry, y'all.
Breaking news.
Can we please show the real winner of who it should be? Please. It's Beyonce. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? It was actually Beyonce for all the reasons I listed. And like I said, she's had an illustrious career, and the only thing that she's really missing is a best album win. So this is obviously the right answer.
Wait,
you can't deny my logic, Audrey.
I'm not.
You
I'm
can't
denying
deny my logic,
nothing.
Audrey. But
I
I'll
have a
let you comment.
question. I have a question. It's a very honest and serious question. This is not a joke.
Yes.
Did Coldplay have a new album?
Yes, I have the same question.
They did. That's the Emoji album.
Okay. No idea. Not a
Spotify. Say Spotify into your voice remote and look at the album. It's all emojis. It's all emojis. It's actually hilarious. It's like, oh, you got like 45-year-old men putting emojis as their song titles as a guess. This will get to the kids.
Okay. I legit had no idea they had new music at all. Not even a new song, let alone an entire album.
No, I didn't hear a single song from Coldplay this year.
No,
also, Break My Soul is terrible. So awful. So bad. Break My Soul is a terrible song. Harry's House should win.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Clearly, my coworkers are not dripping in objectivity. Clearly, they are subjective and don't know what they're talking about. I apologize to the viewers, but that's why you should listen to Quam. He is dripping in objectivity. But if you want to see any more of the nominations or some of the past performances or anything else Grammy related, just say Grammys into your Xfinity voice remote.
And tune in to the live awards ceremony February 5th on CBS and Paramount Plus. Great job, Kwam.
Whew, so much energy.
Kwam's the music editor, so he knows. He has the credibility. We're just, Audrey and I are just a couple of old people.
That's true. It couldn't be more true.
Next up, we celebrate the Lunar New Year with the gift of free in a segment also called Free. As we all welcomed in the new year, Xfinity welcomed in a brand new Free This Week program, which offers a new selection of free content from top streaming services and premium networks every week, all year long, with no strings attached. And our very own Xfinity TV editor, Audrey, is here to tell us more about what's free this week. Audrey, take it away.
Yeah, so this week we are celebrating Lunar New Year. As you know, this is celebrated by many Asian cultures. Among those are Chinese, South Korean, Vietnamese, Singaporean, Malaysian, Filipino, Indonesian cultures, and many more. So to celebrate all of those cultures, we've unlocked content from all of these amazing networks. So this week you can watch Kokowa, which has K-dramas, binge-worthy K-variety programs, and the hottest music of K-pop stars. Anime Network, which I think everyone's probably very familiar with, has the hottest titles and the classics that made anime a household name. Haya is the go-to for martial arts and action movies. And Jobao is actually the premier Chinese entertainment network, and it features binge-worthy TV dramas, blockbuster movies, and tons of variety shows. So we're really hitting on all of the amazing content that is available to celebrate Lunar New Year, from movies, TV shows, variety shows. There's, quite frankly, hundreds, if not thousands of titles to choose from. Some things I just wanted to call out that you may notice. If you're watching this content on X1 and on Flex, you'll be able to enjoy all of these networks. If you are watching on stream, that will be limited to Anime Network, just due to some quirks of the way things work. So feel free to bounce around and see what is the best experience for you. And this is the actual image that you'll see when you go to the on-demand menu. So you click on this tile and you can explore all of the amazing content. From each of these networks, we picked out like the top 10 in case you're not super familiar. We've curated the top 10 shows and movies to watch from each network. And then once you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see a coming soon row, which is really helpful. So it lists out at least a month in advance, week by week, what other ungates are coming, what other free content you can look forward to. So you'll know to put it in your calendar and come back and just say free into your voice remote. You can say free this week. Either will get you there. And we're just really excited about this program of rolling out free stuff, giving you another reason to love Xfinity every week. So get those voice remotes out.
I'm psyched to check out Haya because they have a very loyal following of people who like just love martial arts movies and old kung fu movies. And it's got like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa. Like I can't even remember the last time I watched a kung fu movie. So it's legitimately something that I'm excited to check out.
Yeah. Well, this is the time to do it.
Kwam, I feel like you'd be like a low-key, like secret anime fan.
Oh, you know me so well, David. I was just gonna say that. I'm actually like super excited to go to like the anime. It's because I feel like we all know the popular titles, at least anime fans know the popular titles, but those real deep cuts that kind of like really are like the origin of anime is something that I really wanted to get into. Like I just saw Akira for the first time. It's a huge, anime film, and I just saw it for the first time a few weeks ago. I was like, this is not like the anime of today. And just the old, cartoon style and the graphics is something so nostalgic about it. So David, you know me so well.
I try, yeah. Check out, as Audrey said, check out excuse me, the network shows, movies, and everything we just mentioned, and get a sneak peek at what's coming in the weeks ahead by just saying free this week into your voice remote. Next up, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light in a segment called Hangouts and Extras. Just 1 week ago, HBO debuted its brand new series, The Last of Us, to critical acclaim and equally impressive ratings. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with the stars of the show, Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, for a new episode of Xfinity Hangouts. Here is a sneak peek at our conversation.
Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
It's okay.
I'm taking you with me. You do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. You come this far, then you know what's out there.
Pedro, there are great moments in The Last of Us involving road trip cassette tapes, as well as a few nods to 80s music. If we found one of your cassette mixtapes from the 80s, what would have been on it?
Ooh.
Xanadu.
That was the soundtrack for the entire year of shooting. Xanadu all the time.
Now that I'm here, now that I can't sing. I know, poor Bella. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all the Xanadu. But let's start with Xanadu.
Okay.
Aha would be on there.
You like a
Take on Me. And then the rest would be Prince.
You like a bit of Roberta Flack.
And Tina and Roberta Flack. It's 70s, but it would be on my 80s mix.
Sure.
But yes, that bonded us deeply. The first time ever I saw your face.
Oof.
That would be on there actually. And Prince, always Prince.
Purple
Some Tina Turner.
Solid choices. Bella, I'm so impressed by how well you cover your English accent. I really am. And when you were getting into
when you were sabotaging this interview, it's going to stop now. I'm stopping.
So, it's late. I get it. When you were getting into character, when you were trying to slip into that accent, did you have a word or phrase you used to kind of warm up?
Yes. What are you thinking of? I wonder if we think
We're not thinking about the same thing.
We're not.
Are you? Would you have to bleep?
Yeah, I was going to say. I would say.
That's what I was thinking.
That's genuine, and I still do it now. Like if I'm being American, I'm like.
Good stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Potty mouths.
Potty mouths. Actually, weirdly, one of the first phrases that I ever worked on with my dialect coach, Naomi Todd, who's one of my best friends now, is I have so many like random videos of me saying the words olive oil.
Oh, that's a hard one. That's hard for everyone. Olive oil. Olive oil.
Because like in British, I go olive oil, olive oil. But I love doing the American accent, and I would wake up some days in it. I'd wake up and I'd be, even this morning, because I've been around Americans all the time. Like I woke up and I was talking to myself, and it was in American, and I had to slap myself to remind myself that I'm British.
In American.
They're so much fun, and they like have such great chemistry together. And for anyone who doesn't know, they didn't mention, I mentioned it in the actual full-length interview, but Pedro Pascal, of course, played Prince Oberyn in Game of Thrones, and Bella Ramsey played Lyanna Mormont, the little bear, or whatever they called it, the Iron Bear or whatever character, who became a fan favorite in Game of Thrones as well. They had no crossover in their seasons, but it's kind of cool for Thrones fans to see these two together. I also made reference to, it's very interesting based on the plot, that in this series he is ushering this child across the country, protecting her from harm, while in The Mandalorian, he is also protecting a child, ushering the child across the universe, protecting it from harm. I got the sense that he had heard that many times that day during the press junket. But getting a little ahead of myself, if you're unfamiliar with The Last of Us, it's based on a massively popular and critically acclaimed PlayStation video game series about a smuggler named Joel, who's played by Pedro, and a teenage girl named Ellie, who's played by Bella, and they have to go across the United States 20 years after a mutated fungus decimates the world by turning its human hosts into vicious zombie-like creatures. The series co-stars Gabriel Luna, Anna Torv, Nico Parker, Murray Bartlett, Nick Offerman, Melanie Linsky, Storm Reed, Ashley Johnson, and Merle Dandridge, who's actually the only actor in the series who also played her character in the video game. So she did the motion capture, did the voice for the video game, and now she's playing the character on screen as well. And I feel like it's really important to say that this is so much more than a zombie show. I think there is zombie fatigue. People hear zombies and it turns them off. But firstly, the zombies are more natural in this than they are supernatural. It is a fungus that has infected their bodies and kind of controlling them like a puppet master. And there is like some basis in this in science, where there are these funguses or parasites that get inside bugs and control them to get wherever they need to go and infect the rest of the colony. So this is very similar to that. But it is also a show about people it's really about the people who survived this global pandemic and love, and what love drives them to do, and how love pushes them to survive and risk it all in the face of an apocalypse, essentially. And you don't have to be a fan of the video game series to enjoy the show. This is not a typical video game show. I think people hear video game, they're like, oh, this won't be for me. Like, it's going to be super nerdy. It's not. This is a human drama. And I've seen the first 4 episodes, can tell you that it's some of the best storytelling I've seen in quite some time. A lot of the reviews that have come out, I mean, it's up until the first 28 reviews that came in, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And everyone points to the humanity, the storytelling. It's co-written by Craig Mazin, who created the HBO series Chernobyl, which won Golden Globes and Emmys. So I think we'll really look back at this, honestly, as one of the greatest HBO shows of all time when it's said and done. And I legitimately mean
bold statement.
Yeah.
Very bold statement.
I don't know, are either of you, Audrey, I think you're on the fence about it.
So I'm glad you brought up the video game angle, because like I'm not a gamer, so like that doesn't do it for me alone. The thing that sells me on this is, and we've talked about the show a million times, is it has, on the surface to me anyway, Station 11 vibes, where there is like kind of like apocalyptic situation. There's these two people who cross paths and, you know, take care of each other across the lands, and, you know, all of that stuff ensues. So that's like, I'm like, if this is anything like Station 11, it's for me, because I loved it so much. So that's my draw.
Yeah, and I think you will like it in that sense, because what Station 11 did, partially what it did so well, was that it made you feel like you were in a fully realized world where all the little details were thought out, but everything wasn't over-explained. You're just dropped into this world and things are as they are, down to the last detail, but they don't go into all this effort to explain every last thing. You're just there. It's lived in. These people are living here. And because the creator of The Last of Us and the writer of The Last of Us video games is involved in the writing and the creation of this, it's very well thought out. There's a lot of people involved to make sure that like the very rich and deep storytelling of the game crosses over to this. And it also expands on moments. There are scenes that are almost exactly like they are in the game, but they've expanded on it. And I feel like, there's quarantine zones in various areas that they have to live in. And those worlds just, again, feel like very lived in and authentic, and kind of the same way as Station 11 with that airport that they lived in. Like there's that kind of stuff. So,
yeah. And Melanie Linsky. I love Melanie Linsky, so she's my other selling point.
I mentioned her specifically for you because I know you're a big fan. Kwame, are you going to watch this?
Oh, for sure. This is like right up my alley. I can never get tired of zombie movies or zombie TV shows because, to your point, I think that's the real heart of like that whole genre is while there's monsters outside, oftentimes the real monsters can be the people that are inside or the humans. And I think that whole genre is just filled with great just subtext and context. And I really wanted to play this video game. I never got the opportunity to because it's a long story, but I didn't. I had a PS3 and I never got the chance to upgrade to a PS4. And then I was like, well, it's too late now. Might as well get the PS5. And then the PS5 came out and I couldn't get the PS5 because no one could get the PS5. And so I've just been like in gaming limbo where I've just been unable to like really, get into gaming again. And so I'm mad I missed out on this hype when it was going on. And so I'm just like really excited to see this show. I love both of these actress in Game of Thrones, and I'm glad they are kind of crossing paths. I'm like one of those people who are like you said, it's kind of cool to see like Oberyn and Mormont kind of like reconnect in a completely different setting, completely different universe, not even the same show. And yeah, I'm a believer in this show. I saw the trailer and I was like, I am hooked instantly. I don't want to say best show on HBO of all time. That is a tall order.
One of the best, I said.
I thought you said the best.
I think you did say it.
Maybe I did.
Maybe I don't know.
You gave it the number one status. So kind of a tall ladder to climb. But if it's as good as I'm hoping it is, it can definitely go up there. So I'm excited for this.
Well, when you get a PS5, I'll lend you both games because I have both of them. And I think it's I lost what I was going to say. I've seen the first 4 episodes, and I will say that I think, and I've seen the first episode twice now that it's premiered. And I will say I picked up things that I didn't pick up the first time around that are like kind of haunting in a weird way. And they're very clever in the storytelling. And, most of these zombies, like apocalypse movies start out with like, it's kind of formulaic where like everything is fine. And then suddenly there's a news broadcast where like crazed people running down the street, eating people. And they pay a lot. And there's some of that, but they're very good at just kind of allowing it to play in the background of their lives. Like things are unfolding, but they don't like spend so much time like watching what's coming. It just happens and it's terrifying. And one last point I'm going to make, when I saw this, the first episodes several weeks ago to prepare for this, I saw the 3rd episode and I said to everyone in our circle, because I couldn't talk about it widely, the 3rd episode of The Last of Us is one of the best hours of television I've seen in years. And it is the episode with Murray Bartlett. It's the one that's coming up this weekend. Murray Bartlett and Nick Offerman. And it is stunning, beautiful storytelling, beautiful performances. It's just fantastic. I was just so impressed to the point that I actually made a point of discussing this specific episode with Craig Mazin, the showrunner. And you could see that part of the conversation and the rest of my interview. I also talked to Nico Parker, who plays Joel's daughter in the series. Just say hangouts into your voice remote and check that out. The whole conversation. We talked more to Pedro and Bella as well about video games and other fun nonsense. It was really late in the day when we did that interview. It was like the end, and they were a little loopy, and Pedro alludes to sabotaging the interview because he kept interrupting with goofiness, but it didn't bother me. He's a cool dude. He's the Mandalorian. What are you going to say? Anyway, don't miss new episodes of The Last of Us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on HBO. Before we head out for the week, as always, we're here to help you organize your TV watch list with a segment called Plan Ahead. There are so many big debuts this week that we're dedicating Plan Ahead solely to our favorite premieres of the week, and we'll kick things off with everything you need to watch tonight through Wednesday, and Kwam is going to tell us all about it. Kwam?
Now, I'm not saying that I'm a Playboy expert or anything, but I am shocked that I never knew about these stories. The Playboy Murders will explore the horrific tragedies that have plagued the infamous adult entertainment company. Beyond the glitz and glamour of the magazine, there is a dark side to the iconic bunny ears. Tune in to the Playboy Murders on January 23rd on ID. Okay, let me set the scene. It's 2005, and you're a 10-year-old Kwam who's spending his sick day watching daytime television. Judge Judy is on, and all is right with the world. Now, let's fast forward 20 years, and would you look at that, not much has changed. Judy Justice is the spin-off of the iconic courtroom series and stars the titular judge as she proceeds over real-life disputes. Relive a piece of your childhood by catching the premiere of Judy Justice on January 23rd on Freeview. Okay, talking about classic shows, I high-key feel like this show is older than me. It's not, but I kind of feel like it is. The OG dating show, The Bachelor, follows an eligible bachelor who goes on dates with multiple women in hopes of finding true love. And to be honest, it kind of sounds like my life. Okay, I'm just kidding, not my life. But catch the premiere of The Bachelor on ABC on, you guessed it, January 23rd. So I'm kind of just realizing there are like 4 projects all titled The Lazarus Project. But surprisingly, they aren't related at all. In this sci-fi drama, we follow George. George is the latest recruit to a secret organization that has harnessed the ability to turn back time whenever the world is in threat of extinction. However, George is faced with a difficult decision when someone close to him is in peril, but the organization won't allow George to go back in time to save him. The Lazarus Project comes back to TNT on January 23rd. Lastly, Extraordinary tells the story of Jen. In this universe, everyone has superpowers, except for Jen. Understandably, Jen feels dejected by her lack of abilities, but is comforted by her superpowered friends. It's almost as if Jen is extraordinary. I see what you did there, Hulu. Extraordinary will come to the aforementioned streaming platforms on January 25th.
And here to tell us about the best premieres for the second half of the week is Audrey. Take it away, Audrey.
Hot on the trail of Glass Onion buzz, creator, writer, director, and executive producer Rian Johnson brings a new drama to Peacock. Poker Face is a 10-episode Mystery of the Week series following Natasha Lyonne's character Charlie, who has an extraordinary ability to determine when someone is lying. As she travels around, she meets a whole new cast of characters, and she can't help but solve the crimes that are attached to them. Known for his ensemble cast, Johnson has compiled quite the guest list for this one, including but not limited to Adrian Brody, Benjamin Bratt, Chloe Sevigny, Clea Duvall, Ellen Barkan, Jamila Jamil, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Judith Light, Nick Nolte, and Tim Meadows. Poker Face premieres Thursday, January 26th on Peacock. Executive producer and original Teen Wolf series creator is bringing a new series to Paramount Plus that will make you hell with glee, Wolfpack. Starring Sarah Michelle Gellar and based on the book series, Wolfpack follows a teenage boy and girl whose lives are changed forever when a California wildfire awakens a terrifying supernatural creature. It attacks a highway traffic jam beneath the burning hills. They're both wounded in the chaos, and they can't figure out why they're so drawn to each other. Years later, all of these teens come together to unravel a secret that connects them. Is it a werewolf? Tune in to Wolfpack, series premiere, Thursday, January 26th on Paramount Plus. And speaking of books, let's talk about the upcoming British detective thriller based on a book series of the same name, Lockwood & Co. This supernatural action-adventure takes place in London and centers around a group of talented teenage ghost hunters. Sure, many adult-run businesses exist, but this small but mighty Lockwood & Co. is helmed by 2 teenage boys and a psychically gifted girl who are just about to change the course of history. Lockwood & Co. premieres Friday, January 27th on Netflix. How could the new Apple TV Plus comedy Shrinking not be amazing? It stars Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, is written by Ted Lasso co-creator Bill Lawrence and Emmy Award-winning Ted Lasso star, writer, and co-executive producer Brett Goldstein. Sounds awesome if you ask me. If that star-studded lineup isn't enough to sell you, maybe the plot will. A grieving therapist, played by Segel, starts to break the rules by telling his clients exactly what he thinks. Will this help his clients? Unclear. Tune in to Shrinking for the series premiere on Apple TV Plus, Friday, January 27th. And last but certainly not least, filmed in ultra high def, the highly anticipated sequel to Frozen Planet 2, returns to the Arctic and Antarctic to preserve the amazing animals that live there. It goes further than the first season and explores life beyond the poles. From polar bears to penguins and tigers to snow monkeys, all of these species must overcome these extreme challenges to survive in their extreme environment. Narrated by Emmy Award-winning Sir David Attenborough, Frozen Planet 2 premieres Saturday, January 28th on BBC America.
Thank you, Audrey. It's
Sure.
also a huge week, or weekend, I should say, for live sports, beginning with the 2023 WWE Royal Rumble live on Peacock, Saturday, January 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern. One of my favorite things is getting to talk about this every year because it's my favorite wrestling event of the whole year since I was a kid. This year's card will feature undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns defending his title against challenger Kevin Owens, as well as the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. I have no idea what this is. They've never done a match like this before. Let alone a match that, as I can recall, that's sponsored by anyone, let alone Mountain Dew. I imagine they're fighting in the dark, but I guess we'll see this Sunday. But the main attraction is, as always, the Royal Rumble matches themselves, and that is one match for the men, one match for the women, in which 30 superstars enter the ring one at a time at timed intervals, and are eliminated when they're thrown over the top rope to the floor below. And the last man and woman standing get a title shot of their choice at WrestleMania. It's so much fun. It's like the one event I think that's most accessible to non-wrestling fans because the concept is simple. Like every 60 or 90 seconds, someone enters the ring. You got to throw them out of the ring. Sometimes there's 10 people in the ring. Sometimes there's 2. Sometimes there's 15. Eliminate them all over the top. There's one winner, one sole survivor. It's so much fun. And not to be outdone, this year's Super Bowl competitors will be determined with the NFC and AFC championship games. The next day, Sunday, January 29th, the NFC championship airs live on Fox, while the AFC championship game airs live on CBS and Paramount Plus. So tune in, big week, all the shows, all the games. What more can you ask for? All the things.
I actually just want to say that I really like how you made it sound like regular wrestling is too hard for people to understand. But this, you couldn't possibly comprehend a wrestling match. But this kind of match, like, you can
getting
handle.
someone for 1, 2, 3 is a little too complicated.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, gosh. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Thank you to my fellow Xfinity editors, Audrey and Quam, for joining me this week. Special thanks to The Last of Us stars Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal for joining us. The Last of Us airs Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on HBO. Shout out to our producers, Brad and Aaron, and everyone behind the scenes for making the shows run so smoothly. If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. And of course, you can also check us out 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo. So my name is David. Hey, thanks for joining us on What to Watch Live.